What's up, everybody? It's Anthony here from the Motolog, and this week we're going to take a look at the centrifugal clutch from a 2002 to 2008 KTM Mini Adventure 50. So here's the clutch unit removed from the bike. You see you have your inner clutch shoes and hub and the outer clutch drum. Now the inner clutch set consists of the inner hub there with the 3 shoes. When it comes time to adjust these components, you're going to take a caliper and measure the outer diameter of the inner clutch setup there in 2 spots. You want to go ahead and visually inspect the outer drum for any damage. As you can see, this one here is pretty scored up. And then you're going to measure the inner diameter of the outer clutch hub there. So let's get a close-up of the Belleville washers. As you can see here, they are kind of concave or convex depending on how you look at them in shape. So depending on how you place them together, the outer width, I guess you could say, or the thickness of that stack changes. So here's an actual stack of washers on one of the shoe retaining bolts, and as you see, depending on how they're stacked, you got more of a space or less of a space in between each washer, and that is going to give you the total stack thickness. And of course the bolt there goes in, and that's going to retain that shoe onto the center hub. If I can get the bolt in there, I'll get it here in a second. There it is. And then that bolts to the hub. Now, depending on how thick that stack is, how many washers in the position you have them in, it depends how fast or what time that shoe is going to come out to meet that outer hub. So let's take a look at a couple recommended stacks for a beginner and then for an advanced rider. As you see here in this diagram, for the beginner stack, you have the head of your bolt on your left hand side, and on the right hand side is the threaded end that would thread into that center clutch hub. Now notice that flat washer all the way on the right side by the threaded end of the screw. That's what you are going to use to add or to replace, add or remove flat washers to that end to adjust the stack height. Now you want to get your stack height of all 3 stacks, one for each shoe, as close as possible. I would say down to 1/1000th at least. So if you add or remove those flat washers, that's again how you're going to adjust that. So in this beginner stack, the recommended stack height, now you can use a caliper just like you used to adjust, measure the outer clutch diameter and inner clutch hub diameter. You can use that to, when you put all these washers together, to measure that height. And they recommend that you keep the height between 585 thousandths and 590 thousandths for a beginner. Now remember that depending on how thick that stack is, the least thick it is, the lower the RPM that it's going to swing out and grab that outer hub. So if you want it to engage lower in the RPM, you want a smaller, less stiff stack. To get it up in the higher RPM for more advanced riders or heavier riders, you want it thicker. And we'll go ahead and get that with our next one, as you see for the advanced rider. And if you look at the stack, not much has really changed. The only thing that they change is the couple washers on the end. You can see that they're positioned a little different. The first 12 washers are set up the same. Those last few are set up different. So for this advanced stack, they recommend stack height being at 610 thousandths. So you want to again get that on all 3 of your stacks, all 3 stacks for one for each clutch shoe. You want to get that to about 610 thousandths. And that's a good spot to start for your advanced riders, bigger kids and kids who are a little more aggressive on the throttle. And when you're putting the shoes back on the center hub, remember to torque the retaining bolt to 96 inch-pounds. Don't do what I did and get aggressive with it and snap one off in that center hub, because then you're screwed. It's really tough to drill those out, as it's a blind hole. It doesn't go all the way through to the center, and they're hardened bolts. And when you go ahead and inspect the inner clutch drum here, take a look at the bolt holes and also the pinholes. Make sure there's no pulled out threads or any burrs. That's not going to allow that clutch shoe to sit all the way down on that hub. Check the inner bore there also for scoring. So that just about does it for our clutch video here. We hope you guys enjoyed it and you got some info out of it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and also comment. Let me know if you thought the video was awesome, if you learned something from it, or even if it just flat out sucked. Again, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.